Hi, this is Paul, and this is a bonus episode of Legendary Adventures podcast. I decided to put together some bonus episodes together on things that might be just a little too in the weeds for a regular episode. This week, we're going to be talking about the music of Hyrule Field, how it works, but also something that I don't really see discussed much, if at all, and that's the hidden musical references within the Hyrule Field theme. In an Iwata-asked interview about Ocarina of Time 3D, Koji Kondo said, "I wanted to avoid players going into a dungeon and coming back to find the same song droning on. I thought about what I could do to have different music playing whenever you listen to it, and eventually I created several 8-measure components to play randomly. Each group of 8 measures ended with a chord that would lead nicely to whatever group started next. It sounded natural even when you played them randomly." He made about 20 of these components for the Hyrule Field theme. While there is some randomness, in-game actions will also influence what is playing. There are distinct battle versions of the theme, a wrestle version for when Link is standing still, and an adventure version for when Link is on the move. In a 1998 interview on Glitterberry's Game Translations, Kondo said, "Actually, I arranged songs from all the Zeldas up to now in the score for Hyrule Field. It looks like not many people have recognized them. In fact, there are even people on staff who didn't notice." He laughed at that. This was news to me. Ocarina of Time is 25 years old, and prior to preparing for this podcast, I can't recall ever seeing a single analysis or breakdown of hidden musical references in the Hyrule Field theme. When listening, I could firmly identify one of them, the original Legend of Zelda theme, but I wasn't sure if I was correctly identifying other references. Based on Kondo's quote, I didn't feel too bad about that. After all, there were members of the Zelda team who didn't notice either. But surely there would be a ton of analysis out there outlining every reference, right? Well, to me that seems like that's wrong. People just aren't talking about this as far as I can tell. Through multiple internet searches, I found only one breakdown of the references. It was an official Music Tracks blog post. I don't have the musical knowledge to follow everything in the post. There are some music theory terms that I don't really understand or grasp or know what they mean. And the post doesn't include any side-by-side comparisons with the audio. So, with the help of official Music Tracks, I plan to offer those comparisons. I'm going to split this up, and I will start with the references that I think are pretty clear and that most people will be able to pick up on, no problem. Then I'll move on to some that don't sound exact to me, but I could maybe see it. And then I'll go on to the ones that even with this write-up, I'm not even sure if I hear it. So let's start. First up, the original Legend of Zelda theme. This one I was able to hear without any help, and I imagine you may have noticed it too. Here's the original theme. Here is Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Field. And here they are back to back. Pretty clear, I think. Next up, the Ballad of the Windfish from Link's Awakening. Here's the version of that tune from the Link's Awakening remake. Here it is in Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Field. And now here they are back to back. The tempo is much quicker in Ocarina of Time, but I think the notes are the same, and it sounds pretty clear to me now that I know what to look for. Finally, to close off this section, we're going to look at the pulsing rhythm that's clearly running through many portions of the theme, but is perhaps most clearly heard at the beginning. Official Music Tracks describes this as a happy cousin of the Dark World theme from A Link to the Past, and I think it matches up pretty well despite the differences in key. Here's the Dark World theme. Here's Hyrule Field. And here they are back to back. The next examples are less clear to me, but official Music Tracks recognize them as a connection, and I can kind of see them. Zelda 2 was a big influence in Ocarina of Time, so you would think it's referenced somewhere in the Hyrule Field theme, and it might be here. In the overworld theme of Zelda 2, there is an arpeggio section. Listen. Official Music Tracks writes, Hyrule Field strings seem to mimic the ultra-fast arpeggio found in the previous game in a slower version. Here they are back to back. Next up, Official Music Tracks identifies this section as having some similarities to the Death Mountain theme from A Link to the Past. Here's the Death Mountain theme. Here it is in Hyrule Field. And here they are back to back. This section is compared to a track in A Link to the Past called Silly Pink Rabbit. It plays atop Death Mountain the first time Link turns into a bunny. Here's the segment in Ocarina of Time. Here's the track from A Link to the Past. And here they are back to back. Finally, there are a few that I've tried listening to and I just don't hear it. I'm including it for the sake of completeness. First up is a comparison to the Game Over music from the original Legend of Zelda. It starts like this, then progresses into sort of a shuffle. Official Music Tracks describes a section in their posted version of the Hyrule Field Theme, which has the original Legend of Zelda theme, and then has quarter notes and a similar melodic contour make both themes reminiscent to each other. Listen. And here they are back to back. There are also two sections described as referencing the Hyrule Castle theme. Here's that theme. And here's the section in Hyrule Field. And here they are back to back. And there you go. I've only talked about the adventure version of the Hyrule Field theme. There are, of course, battle versions and rest versions as well. But based on the Official Music Tracks write-up, I don't think there are any unique references in those other versions. If you want to read what Official Music Tracks says about those sections, you can read the blog that I've linked in the description. So, what do you think? Did you know about the hidden musical references in Hyrule Field? Do you hear all of them? Are there others you know about that maybe I didn't talk about here? Let me know. Until next time, I'm Paul Riley. I'll talk to you later.